Haters, a silly word, but a word you must know in life and in business. That's next on StonePark Podcast. Dream, build, connect. Hello once again. I'm your host, David. Across from me, my main man, Carlos. How you doing?
What's up, David?
Let's
What's
just
going
get
on?
I'm good, but let's just get into it.
We're going to talk about these haters today, huh?
Haters. What is your
man.
definition? What's your definition
What's my
of
definition
a
of
hater
a
or hating?
All right. So I think it's someone, man, who judges you unfairly. Someone that, judges you or comes at you emotionally rather than, like rationally, or somebody that wants to belittle you or bring you down with no gain. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen the movie Belly. You had that guy with the banana. He's like, yeah, I don't like that shit.
I
He's
remember him.
There was no reason like to hate. I mean, there was no reason. He just didn't like them. You know what I mean? So like, there's if sometimes you got people that see where you're at or see where you're going. They see your grit, and they don't have it. You know what I mean? And they hate it. They don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think?
Well, first off, I did a little cheese research, just couple definitions online. A person who thrives or showing hate toward, criticizing, or belittling other people or things, usually unfairly. I would say that's a very diplomatic definition. So I went on the Urban Dictionary, and one of them said a person who unduly demeans, disparages, or bashes a person or thing for negative emotional reasons rather than logical reasons. Emotional. That when I thought of that word hate or hater, I just thought of emotional. Right? When we're in business, usually the voice of reason is saying, "Oh man, you're being emotional." Have you ever heard that? Have people told you that before?
Yeah, definitely, man.
And even though you don't want to hear it, you step back and you're like, you know what? I am being a little emotional, right? So I think that haters are usually emotional, and they look kind of similar to you. They look at you, not that they want to be you, but they almost admire what you're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have some good feedback, and that's what we're going to get into. But the way that they say it, the way that they come across, their actions show belittling, show, they want to take you down.
Yeah.
And that's where you, as the receiver, have to figure out what's going on here. Is it just the troll hate? Because there's different levels to it. You got the troll hate, you got what I'm talking about, that emotional hate, and then you got just straight facts, right? So let's break that down. But before we do, are you a hater?
Ooh, am I a hater?
Or have you ever been a hater? So you got to tell the truth there, man.
Well, look, man, honestly, yes, man. I've been a hater, man. When I was younger, I remember in my early teens, even before that probably, in grade school, I remember hating on kids in the neighborhood that were part of the baseball little leagues. And I remember my parents being too busy with work and seeing all the kids in the neighborhood, dressed in their team, what I think it was Pirates, dressed in the clothes and running to the park because the park was nearby. And I remember feeling like envious, man, like hating it, and I remember being like, yo, well, I don't even like baseball, sucks, you know what I mean? But it was just like 100% like being a hater, and then I remember getting a little older, around high school, middle school, If I saw somebody, that got the fresh pair of J's, on release date, and I couldn't get them, I'd be like, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, yeah. But now as an adult, absolutely not. It's just, it's like I grew out of that. I feel like now as an adult, I have control, you know what I mean, of whether if there's something that I want, and if I don't have it, it's because I didn't put the effort to get it. You know what I mean? And, if somebody's doing well, good for them. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I'm not going to let you get off that easy. So we all been kid haters.
Yeah.
Listen, what you said that's like the art of being a kid.
Hell yeah.
So I'm talking about, when were you a hater at a moment that you shouldn't have been a hater?
Ooh, okay.
So break me off something that we can all relate to, that you don't want to tell, but you admit you were being a hater. Here.
Yeah.
Let me go first, right?
Go ahead.
So when I got into real estate, I had a subcontractor who was cool guy, almost like a mentor. And he had a son my age doing the same thing. And he would tell me his moves. And there was a point in time in real estate around 2006 that the market was just on fire. You're just making money hand over fist. But the smart people realized that it was fake. It was bound to go down. And my subcontractor's son knew this, and he started selling all his properties. So my contractor came up to me and said, "Look, man, my son's selling all his properties." And I'm looking at him and saying, "Well, he's dumb because he's selling it at a discount. He should hold it a little more. He's going to get even more money." And he said, No, something's going on. The market isn't going to be hot forever. And there was a little hate in me because I was hating on things I didn't know. I was young. It was the first wave of success that I've had. And I was just feeling myself. And to hear anyone tell me that I was doing wrong, I wasn't trying to hear that. So in my mind, he's going to lose out. And slowly but surely, mid-2006, end of 2006, beginning of 2007,
the market crash.
Dude was right.
Dang.
Dude was right. And you know what he did? He cashed up, had all his money, and he was waiting for all the houses to foreclose. So then he would just go and rinse and repeat. But he was buying it at such a cheap price that he can continue to do all the stuff that we were doing before. Awesome move.
Wow.
Awesome move. And even then, I was hating, and I felt it. I felt it in my heart that, I should have listened. I should have done what he did. I'm in a bad spot.
Yeah.
But instead of admitting that, and remember, I'm in my early 20s, instead of admitting it, I just hated. And it took me a while to realize that it was immaturity. I should have learned from it, which I did. And I should have maybe listened a little more instead of clouding my judgment off of ego and success. So to me, that's my...
Yeah. I guess in my music,
Okay.
I've hated. Maybe you showed dislike on something that was, that a lot of people opinion was the same, that it was really good, and it probably was. But I'm using my taste to say, oh, well, I don't know, that's kind of whack. But that's, my even though it's an opinion, it's coming from a bad place because I'm kind of going against what the popular, opinion is. And yeah, I think I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm not trying to self-admit it, but maybe others that were like, nah, dude, you're hating. Like, I'm sure they would say different, you know what I mean? But I think early in my music career, yeah, I probably have hated another artist when I seen them maybe put a music video out, and I was like, I don't really like it. I don't like. But maybe
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so it's really self-reflection.
Yeah.
So when we're hating, especially in business, let's say we're in a group and a person comes up with a good idea because it wasn't your idea, or because maybe the idea you put on the table is now being left behind.
Yeah.
You feel something, right? And that's a natural feeling.
Right.
However, what we're trying to do or say or preach is that that's the wrong approach. You got to remove that emotion from the business. You have to, because if that person is giving the correct information or a better idea, or you see everyone's eyes light up and they're inspired by that idea, and I'm a big fan of everyone being 100.
Yeah.
You got to go with that idea. And I've been in situations in meetings or just, throwing ideas out. Yeah, I hate on an idea because I want my idea to be number one. Got to stop that. So I admit I've totally been a hater. However, and I think you can agree here too, that as we've gotten older, we've let the hate go.
Yeah.
Because I think you understand what I'm trying to say. And to our listeners, I hope you guys understand that. And if you're feeling that anxiousness or that thing that comes to your chest when someone gives a good idea or they're kind of bypassing you, think about it first. What is it about? Is it better for all of us? And once you understand that it's better for the group, the team, the company, let that stuff go. Let that go. Because what you can do is that you take that hate and channel it to positivity and say, hey, how can I help? How can we make this happen? Understand that it is a good idea. Yeah. If it's a bad idea, then you go and get passionate and say why it is. But if it's because you and your brain are just feeling a certain way, emotional about it, got to take that out, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Let's go to constructive criticism. Do you think that's hating?
I don't think it's hating, but it could come off a little as passive aggressiveness.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It also depends on, where's it coming from, and if there's any truth behind it. That's the thing. That's the main thing. I mean, you kind of like just spoke on it, Is there truth behind it? If there's no truth behind it and that, it's coming from from a hateful place, that's a hate, man. But if what they're saying, it makes sense logically, it does make sense, it's constructive criticism. I mean, you should be humble enough to accept it. You should be humble enough to, to accept someone's idea, someone's criticism, because it's only going to make it better,
I agree. And it's all about the receiver, the one that's taking it. So you tell me something, it's all how I take it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to take it, hey, Dave, your podcast sucks because of this, this, and that, right? I can start battling, but if this, and that is true, I should start looking into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delivery is rough, and like you said, it could be passive aggressive, but usually people that are telling you this criticism are in your circle, your friend, your family member, someone that you care about, and that's why you're getting a little tight, right? But there has to be some type of truth behind it.
Yeah.
And it's all about you as the receiver, how you're going to break that down. If you're meditating on it, you'll get through. But if you're going to react to it just like that, then you're making it hate. It's not criticism anymore, or it's not constructive anymore. Now it's just criticism. So I think really, again, you have to dig deep within yourself to listen to what is being said. Again, there's going to be that troll hate that just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
That you should be able to just say, this is, I'm not even going to listen to that, right? And then there's going to be the passive aggressive or the emotional, jab, but could be some truth to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you said, it needs to be self-reflecting. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need, because only right? Like if there's truth behind it, and yeah, it depends, man. It's on you, honestly.
And then lastly, there are the people that just tell it how it is. Just straight direct. Hey man, your audio is messed up.
I like that though.
I like it too.
Yeah, I really do, man. I actually get
it's like a quick jab to the nose, right? So you get hit in the nose and your eyes are watery and you're like, whoa, what just happened? But sooner or later, you get your vision back, your nose it's not broken. You say, hey man, my audio is messed up.
Yeah.
Right? So I love honest people. I love direct people. Yeah. But again, you could be honest, you could be direct, and let's say you're dealing with someone, hell, you're dealing with me in my 20s. If you were honest and direct, I might not listen. I might not hey, sell these properties. The market is going to go bad. I might not listen.
But the ego,
Totally.
Because being young, you can't tell me nothing. It's like, what? The market's going to crash.
But when you're
my music sucks.
When you're older too, because if you don't have that guidance, you're going to grow up with that.
Yeah, if you don't grow out of it, well, if they don't redirect that, that thought, you know what I mean, from it, like hopefully this is going to redirect someone's emotion from being a hater to understanding like, hey, I am giving those vibes. I am, hating on certain person, and I need to stop. Or other way around, hey, yeah, man, they're hating on me. Well, they're not hating on me. I'm gonna use, you know what I mean? So maybe we can redirect, that emotion and, change someone's lives today.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? With this podcast.
That's the goal. Look, you're not a hater anymore. You claim, okay?
I'm not,
all
man.
Right. So why? Who taught you that? There must have been someone that redirected you.
Right.
It just doesn't happen overnight because we all have a little.
Yeah, it wasn't overnight. Definitely not. But as I got older, I would say probably in the last 10 years, I would say that I really matured completely. Late bloomer, man, like crazy. But, I think that's when it really, really hit me where I'm just realized man, hold up. Everything that I don't have is because I haven't gone for it. And I put excuses for it. You know what I mean? And it's just self-reflection. Like a lot of the things I'm just like, man, it's on my control now. Back when I was a kid, if I couldn't get those shoes, it wasn't on my control. If I wasn't on the baseball team, it wasn't in my control. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. But now it is. You know what I mean? Like if there's anything that I want and if I just can't get it, it's me, and I got to figure that out. And it's self-reflection. You know what I mean? But it of course it wasn't overnight. Yeah.
For me, it was Mike being my partner, my business partner.
Yeah.
Because he, at an early age, was just always about his business or our business. He was never worried about other people. Where I, on the other hand, for some reason, I was always worried about other things, external things.
Yeah.
So he would break it down and point it out to me. Why? Why are you worried about that? Well, who cares? What does that matter? And I'd have to go back and battle him and debate him and stuff like that. And once I got back home and reflected, and that's one thing about me, is that I listen to everybody. Now, do I listen on the spot? Maybe not. So I might have some words for you. I might debate you back and forth. But when I go home and collect my thoughts, I think about my whole day. I think about what was said, what I could have done better, just everything. And a lot of it has to do with business. And a lot of it has to do with how I could be a better person. That's it. And I come back and I tell Mike, I said, hey, you were right. And he just nods his head. He doesn't put it in my face or anything like that. But little by little, step by step, year by year, I grew into this person that doesn't really sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me. And I'm sure that's hard. I'm sure there are a lot of people like me that, why is this person getting paid more than us?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Why I'm doing the same amount of work, if not more, and why is this person getting a bigger cut? Why is this? Why is that? And you can technically be right, but where is that going to get you? Where is that attitude going to get you? Where's there room for people like that? If I kept on complaining about everything, about, we don't get this, we don't get that, would you really want to be around me? Probably not.
Nah, man.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost a negative trait.
Yeah.
And when I felt, here was the big thing for me, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but when I started feeling like I was the one being negative in the group, where I could just kind of tell there's a feeling you get that, like a stank.
And you realize
a
that
stank
you're like,
in the
wait,
air.
yeah.
You're like,
and you know it's
something
you.
doesn't smell right.
Oh, that's tough.
And it's me. Oh, damn.
That sucks.
Right?
But yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
There were a couple times that I felt that. Or maybe we're in a business meeting and I might be going a little too hard, right? And Mike is looking at me like, yo, chill, man. Chill.
Yeah.
And I step back and I think about it. I said, wow, I could have really botched the deal just because of my emotions.
Yeah.
Just because I feel that maybe I'm not better than, but in a better position to tell my truth and say, hey, we did this. When you're dealing with investors, a big thing is that you are going to still have to eat crap. You could still be technically the boss. But those investors they're actually the boss, and you're still dancing.
Yeah.
And that was a hard pill that I had to swallow and understand, because I'm still in, my build phase. I'm still building what I need to build. And when you've been working so hard and you feel that you're doing everything and you're wearing all the hats and you've got the team and you're just, working however many hours a week, you feel entitled to say things. But no, because these investors, how do they get their money? I'm dealing with people that are much older than me. How do they get their money? How do I know that they didn't do what I did times 5?
Yeah.
Right? So you got to slow your roll and understand like what's going on in the room. And it's really about emotions, really. So anyway, I went through a bunch of things or events like that, and I figured out that I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the one that has to be covered up. Like, hey, I don't want to be the guy that's not invited because, hey, Dave, let me take this one, right? I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I felt that a few years ago, I was that guy. So I had to make a change. So it's not that I am a hater, but I know what hating is all about. And really it comes from you wanting, but you're just not getting it now. So you see other people that maybe they have what you have, but you feel that you're working just as hard as them, right? And you feel, well, why am I not there? Oh, you're lucky. You're in a lucky spot, or you got this, and I had to do this. Man, that's such a bad way of thinking.
Yeah.
Terrible. So.
But that's good, man. That's good that you got to that point where you were able to see it, because when you don't know that there's a problem, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Or
if you're not worth fixing, right? So I've met a ton of dudes,
crazy,
a ton of people that they're just like crazy, and in your head, you're thinking, you're just nodding. It's like going to a bid. Have you ever been to a bid? And as soon as you walk in the house, as soon as you see the person,
you don't even care.
You wanna moonwalk right back to your car and bounce out.
That's
so
fact.
So you're just kind of nodding your head, and they're like, "Can you do this? Oh yeah, well,
yeah
I could do this.
yeah,
I could
yeah.
do this. I could do this. I could do that." Because you know that you don't want to be around this person. You know that they're going to be a headache. It doesn't matter how much money is in the job. You want out.
That's true.
You want out. And I feel that we meet people like that every day.
That's very true.
So you need to surround yourself with people that care about you, that can kind of point, hey, you're messing up. And that's what Mike has done for me in my life at a young age, even to this day. Like, hey, man, you're slipping. And he's not perfect. I do the same to him. But for me and my growth, that was a big thing, that I needed a partner that was just opposite of me, to understand that I'm just looking at things clouded.
Yeah.
Right? So if I were to get a partner just like me,
oh man, like a yes man, you know what I mean?
but
like,
not even a yes man, just basically a clone of me, we would go crazy. we would just come up with the craziest stuff, like, oh, just talking all the time.
And it would always just be a good idea because it's always like, yeah. So,
how important in business is it to be emotionally stable?
It's very important. It's very important because it can affect your business decisions or even business partners or business deals. You will be thinking logically, you know what I mean? But like you said, emotionally, like you said, being in that meeting and kind of just going off your emotions, and now, you're just going crazy, and people are just, they don't want to be around that. It's like nobody does. Nobody want to work with you. Nobody just want to go in business with you because it's just it's a bad trait, So yeah, I mean, definitely you make better decisions. You're ready for it, man. Yeah. What do you think?
100%. And I think what you said was right, that no one wants to work with someone like that. So if you're in a meeting and you're giving your first impression, and let's say they say something that isn't correct, but you're correcting them, I don't like people like that. Just let the person say whatever. Even if you say my name wrong, let's just say you started calling me Daniel. Hey, Daniel, so this is what it is. I'll say yes, and I'll respond to Daniel. And then later on, when they see the emails and stuff and they see my name is David, they're going to respect that. They're going to be like, man, I've been calling this dude Daniel, and he didn't even flinch. He did what he had to do. If I corrected him, right, and let's just say this is the CEO of whatever billion-dollar company, what does that do? No, it's David, sir. What does it matter? What does it matter? We're here for business. We're here to think clearly. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make it happen. You want to call
unless the check is being written to Daniel. That's when you be like, oh, wait, hey man, my name is Carlos, HR. Man, and yeah, make sure you it's with the Z in the end. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that's so. I don't know about the name. I look, I think there's ways to talk to people, and there's ways to come off. There's ways to come off as arrogant and like a gotcha moments, or be like, my name is,
I don't think you can say it.
But it's still.
No. Let's say the guy's calling you Daniel, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How do you even? Nah, man, you don't say anything. You don't. How do you say that? There's a whole, like, let's imagine there's 10 people and the head is talking to you. And I've been in situations like that, like the dude. Yeah. The dude is in front of you, right? Uh-huh. And the dude hasn't said anything the whole meeting. The lawyer has been talking your ear off, and they're all asking questions, and you're just kind of like, and you're saying whatever. And then the dude comes in, and he's like, Daniel, are you ready to do some business with me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yes. We'll talk to HR the HR person later. So we can get
what?
The name.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I might even let you write the check out to Daniel.
There you go.
And I'll just hit you back up later and be like, hey man, I noticed that
after it's done, we'll fix it. Yeah. We'll fix. You see, and that's what I'm saying, that when you're doing business, you might only have one shot. Yeah. You have that one shot, that one impression. And if you got that stank vibe, on to the next. But if you're passionate about what you want to do, honest, you have the experience, people are going to want to work with you.
Yeah, man.
Right?
It's contagious, man. We talked about this before. Like, the energy is contagious. And if your energy is the energy of a hater, nobody likes that. You know, it sticks out, man. Like, especially like you know, like I told you, in my experience, you know, when we were in the room and everybody, you know, we're talking about the certain artist that was like, hey man, everybody liking it, but I was the only one that was like, nah, I don't like. And it was kind of like, you tripping, man? That was fire. And I'm like, eh. And then I like, you know, so it's kind of like knowing that it's actually good. It was a good song. So, you know, I'm sure everybody was like, man, he's hating, you know? So, you know, it just it gives a bad taste.
And then also, would they want to work with you? Like, let's say the person that came in drops a hot verse, whatever it is, and they look at you and maybe they look up to you and they're like, hey, Carlos, was that good? And then you're just like, nah, I'm not feeling it or whatever. And they're looking at you like, wow, man, you might break them down. And you don't even know it just by doing that. That maybe they looked up to you and then you're just like, it was all right.
Yeah.
Your attitude, your emotions, all that stuff, it's being watched by many. So it might not be big boss applesauce, but it could be someone that wants to work for you, someone that wants to, you know, do things with you, collaborate, partnership, whatever. And you do that, and then they go home. They're like, you know what? I don't really mess with them anymore, just because of a little emotion that you had because you wanted your verse in front, or you wanted them to sing whatever that you had written, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
you know, and that, like, I've been in a ton of situations like that where sometimes I'm surrounded by really smart people, and they're saying things that are flying over my head, and instead of embracing it and learning more, or maybe acknowledging, oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, tell me more. I get tense, or yeah, okay, yeah, that's an okay idea or whatever. It comes from insecurity, really.
Yeah, man, you are saying words you can't even spell.
Yeah,
and you start hating.
Right, exactly. So there was this one part in Sopranos. Sopranos is one of my favorite series, and I love watching it as I get older because, you know,
you start seeing things that went over your head.
I hate to admit it, but I'm Tony Soprano's age, man. So I'm watching it like, oh, this is what he's going through. But anyway, there's a scene where him and Carmela, as always, they're always arguing, but they're arguing, and she's like, you know, you're the boss. Of course they're gonna laugh at your jokes. Of course they're going to say that you're not fat and you're not bald. You're the boss. And he basically looking at her like a hater, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But he contemplated that. During the episode. And later on, he's with his crew and they're playing cards, and he tells a joke. And the joke was semi-funny. But these guys are like, and it goes in slow motion, and he's looking at all the guys, and then he sees one guy not laughing, and he's the dude in the back. It was I think his name was Feach. He came out of jail, and he was much older than Tony, and he's looking at Tony like a boy, because when he was on the streets, Tony was a kid, and now he came out, and now Tony's the boss. So he saw that Feach was the one to take out. And if he didn't listen to Carmela, like basically the hater, if he didn't listen to it and process it, he wouldn't have known that Feach had to leave. So if you have, let's say you have a team, we're working, and you feel some stuff coming your way, how do you handle that? How do you handle that teammate, that employee? What's your advice? Because really, we're talking about business owners, right? So us as business owners, we want to make sure that everything's okay. We're really looking into this, right? But when you're working for bigger companies, the chances of a hater is there. I mean, it's like 10 out of 10. There are going to be tons of haters all over you. What advice? So if someone's working their job, or someone's working as an entrepreneur or whatever, what do you do?
Well, you know, First, you identify the problem. You know, what's the issue? If I really care for this person, or this person is someone that's valuable, in the company or whatever, right? If it's someone important, I try to find out what's going on. You know, like just try to solve it that way, because maybe it's just miscommunication. You know, but if it's somebody, man, that's not relevant, and it's just, and if it's not affecting the work,
what if it is?
Knock yourself out.
What if it is?
They gotta go. I mean, you know, because if you talk to them, and you know, you find out the problem, because obviously we need to find out what the issue is, so we can all be at 100. You know, as we always talk, you always want to be in good spirits and make sure that everything is good, because we could have arguments. That's fine, and disagreements. But if we find out what the problem is, and it's negative energy, and it's just negativity, and there's no way to fix it because you're still stuck in your emotional way, you gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is, you know. But if it's not affecting, and it's not somebody that's like really, you know, I hate to say it, but like not that important, in the role playing that we got going on, I ignore it. Like, I don't even give it attention. You know, I just like whatever, you know. But if it's somebody that I care about, then I care about how they feel. And if they feel like, you know, I could feel some type of tension or some type of emotional like reaction to something, I want to know what's going on, you know. So I would be like, hey, you know, I noticed that, you know, I feel this vibe off you. What's going on? You know, oh, well, you suck, man. You've been acting odd. So then we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Maybe I have, you know. Maybe I have. Maybe, you know, my attitude needs to change. You know what I mean? So that's when I'll self-reflect to know if they're right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe, you know, I'll be like, you know, I do have problems at home, and I am bringing them here at work. Dang. So then that's my self-reflection. Like, I understand, like, oh, man, I need to stop. You're right. I apologize. And then, you know, but if, like, you know, oh, you know, whatever, you know, anything that's just doesn't make sense, like, you just like, dude, come on. Like, that's when I'm just like, all right, well, fix that attitude. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you self-reflect. Like, you know the truth is, you know? And if they don't change it, then you got to go, man.
Yeah. What I do is I write it down. So as soon as I start seeing it, I start noticing it more, but I write it down.
Okay.
Because my first reaction is I want to stop it. Like, hey, what's going on? Right? But that's not fair to them. And really, I don't know if it's real or not. Right? When you see something, you see a bad look or some attitude, you might have taken it the wrong way. So the best thing to do is just write it down and document it. And then if you know that it's now a fact that this is happening and it's affecting, then that's when I try to create an environment that's happy and then kind of approach it. Where it could be we all go out for a work party, something like that, and just kind of casually bring it up and try to understand what's going on. Because sometimes it could be, like you said,
it's miscommunication sometimes.
Could be you.
Yeah.
It could be miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that you're just reading it wrong, but you don't want to make it a thing right directly at the workplace. I feel that you need to step out of that and give them the option to be them. Because if you don't, then it's kind of like, well, what did you mean by that? And if you're, let's say, the manager or the boss, you're putting them in a tight spot. They're going to answer the way that you think the answer should be.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's more so a calm approach. And this is for people that are worth it. I'm not talking, kind of going back to what you're saying, that if they are such a, you know,
important piece to the puzzle, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about when your team is with you, you guys are growing together. Yeah. And if you guys grow apart, that means that you guys made it. That's how I want to look at it. Or they did their own thing and you have to be happy for them, right? But the team that you're with, you see them on the regular. Like I said, I see you a lot, right?
Yeah.
I see Mike a lot. I see Kathy a lot. I see my team a lot. And for us not to all be at 100, that's crazy.
Yeah.
In order for us to make it small business, you all have to be 100. You have to be 110. You all have to really, really work well together. So if there's a little friction, yeah, you talk it out nicely. Not you're doing this and you're doing that. More so, what's going on?
Yeah,
right?
That amplifies the problem.
Yeah. So what's going on? What can I do to help? I feel that there's just something isn't flowing right. And then another thing is let them say it. Don't accuse, because when you start accusing, and even though you wrote it down, it's still my opinion, right? Someone coming late to work, that's a fact. You write it down. They came in late. I mean, you can take a picture and all that stuff. That's a fact. But someone saying something in a certain way, no, that's emotional.
Subjective too.
Yeah. So when you're looking at things like that, you got to give them the chance. And then that's what I would do. I would give them the chance to get out of it. And how can I help you? And how could maybe the person affecting the person's mood help you? How can we all just work on this and make it happen? And like you said, 9 times out of 10, it's miscommunication, especially with good teammates.
Yeah. We're not always right.
No.
And when someone has some type of energy, and it's not always just immediately, oh, they're haters, oh, they're this, oh, they're being emotional. That a lot of times, sometimes it's us. Sometimes it's our own person that needs to change or needs to reevaluate, everything, you know what I mean? And then self-reflection at the end of the day, and like I said, it's, like you can't lie to yourself, right. You know what I mean? Well, you can lie, but it's not real,
But if you're sincere in your approach with other people,
yes,
it's always going to be cool.
Yes.
So if you come to them and you're positive, hey man,
they'll respect it, man.
Oh, like, for sure,
dude. That's the first thing
you're hitting them with the move.
Yeah, because they wouldn't expect that. Like they expect you to be on the defensive all the time and being like, oh, but when you come and and you give them the, hey man, I'm wrong, and especially when you're wrong, it feels good. You know what I mean? Because it makes you feel like, hey man, well this person, like he's real. And it's not always just, oh, your fault. Sometimes it's our fault. So it's not always just they're hating. Nah, it's an emotional thing.
And it also shows you care too.
Yeah.
It shows you care. And that's emotion. And there's good emotion. You can't just be a robot.
Of course.
But by you going and talking your problems out and coming up with solutions and just kind of speaking your truth respectfully, they're going to do the same or feel open to doing that. If they don't and they clam up and they still want to be a certain way, then that's different. Then we got to figure out a way to kind of move away from that.
Yes.
But 9 times out of 10, that person is going to let you know what's going on. And you get hit with that and you say to yourself, okay, can we fix this? And usually you can. You can.
Yeah.
Right. Closing. Anything else? Shout out to the haters.
Remember this in the early 2000s, so in mid 2000s, there was a song, Hi Hater, Hi Hater. It was some song that dude was just like a one-hit wonder, but shout out to him. He had it with Hi Hater, Hi Hater. But
did he know, was he really saying what we were talking about, the 3 different types of haters?
I don't know, man. Like, you know what? There was even shirts. I remember there was shirts with the handprint that said hater. It was a Hi Hater. Like, I mean, dude had merch and everything.
You know what's funny? I hate the word hater. I just think it's so stupid. But
it's part of the vocabulary of society now. You know what I mean? It's a word. But final thoughts, final words, right? I want to just tell the haters, change your life, man. Reflect, be real with yourself. You know, like why hate?
They're like, man, the dude that laid the track is like, what's this dude talking about? Carlos is the biggest hater. The biggest, man.
But, you know, self-reflect, man. Realize that it's an emotion that, you know, you got control over. And if there's something that you want that someone else has, go for it. You know what I mean? And there's no reason why you can't achieve whatever you want. If you haven't got it, it's because it's just you're not working hard enough. You know, so, you know, and there's certain things that we just can't get to, and it's just what it is. But there's reality to it. You know what I mean? And then you won't feel bad either because it's like really out of your reach, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? But there's certain goals that others are achieving that are not like out of this world. And if you're not doing it, you know, it's on you. You know what I mean? You see someone on Instagram posting that they're on vacation, you know, and you're mad at that and you're hating on that. That's not out of this world. Save up some money, you know, like be smarter with your finances. Set some time, plan. And now you got it. You know, you can do that. You know, you see someone really fit. I can't be mad at them. You know what I mean? I can't hate that someone is fit and he's posting on Instagram without a shirt all the time. You know what I mean? Well, I got to eat better and go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, stop, you know, going to hibachi and killing the... And I say hibachi because, you know, I gotta stop. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So I know it's a long thought, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that if you're hating, it's okay. You just need to produce more. You got to keep busy.
Yeah.
You've ever been so busy that you don't even look at your phone? You don't think about anything outside of what you're doing? You're just busy. Like you're not even thinking about sleeping. You're just doing whatever you love to do, or you're working, you're busy. I think that's the biggest thing. Haters, they're just looking at people that are busy. Those haters, you think they're the people that those haters are hating. You think those people are thinking about them? They're out there doing it.
They're living their life.
They're out there doing it. And I think the busier you are, and the more things that you have going on, plans, like you said, setting goals, you're going to not have time to hate. Now, let's say that doesn't work. You need support. You need business partners, teammates that are telling you the truth to let you know, hey, man, you're not thinking right.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can't do it on your own, ask for some advice. Mentors, all that stuff.
Mentors, yeah, definitely. Learn, you know, haters. It's a thought. It's an emotion. Hater also, they have a lot of excuses, you know, and I feel like it's all a mental thing, you know. When we give these excuses, your own mind is doing it to yourself. Like you are sometimes your own biggest hater, your own, you know, like you hold yourself back from doing anything that you want. 100%. You know what I mean? And when you allow yourself to hold you back, you should hate that. How about that? How about hate your mentality? How about don't hate yourself, but hate your own mind, because it's crazy how sometimes your own mind is your worst enemy, and it's yourself. You know what I mean? Like you are the one that's holding yourself from achieving what the next man has or the next woman has. And it's not rocket science. It's really just you're putting these walls on your mind, and it's yourself that's doing it. You know what I mean? And once you could break that, if you could, you know, beat your own mind into like stop hating and achieve these dreams and whatever it is that you want, man, you're not going to hate nothing no more.
Before we close out, there was a mentor of mine that he's also an investor, and he said, we were going over a deal, and he said to me, hey, are you okay with what you're getting? And I said, yeah. And then we're going over everyone's cut and stuff. And then I said, well, why is that person getting that much? I mean, what's going on with that? And he said, well, hold on. I asked you, are you okay with what you're getting? If not, we can change things. I said, no, I'm okay. And he said, then you shouldn't worry about anyone else's money ever. If you're okay with what you're getting, don't worry about the other person. Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
So if I would have switched it up and said, oh, I'm not getting paid enough, that's different. But I said, I truly felt that I was okay with what I was getting until I saw the other person. And that's a form of hating.
Yeah.
That's a form of hating. And he got me right back on track and said, you should never worry about what anyone else is making.
But you self-reflected. And that's the main key.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, the
for
main
sure.
key.
I'll take that till I die. I think that was such great advice. And Mike was with me, and Mike was looking at me like, yeah, man, that's it right there. It is so true.
That's the sauce.
And that's the sauce. And once you start picking up little tricks like that, you start getting into similar situations, and the way that you act, like another investor might be saying the same thing. And the fact that I acted totally nonchalant, said, yeah, I'm good with it. Oh, he's getting that? Totally cool. And they're like, I can work with this guy. But if I'm like, oh,
shows a lot of confidence too.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys want to connect with us, that's you. We have an email set up, connect@stonepark.com. If you're on socials, we are StonePark Podcast. If you like real estate, we're at StonePark Real Estate. And if you listen to podcasts the traditional way, we are on all major podcast platforms, StonePark Podcast. Until next time, Carlos, dream, build,
connect.
Later.